Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today we're going to talk about California Governor Gavin Newsom signing a slate of bills promising to be tough on crime. He has ignored the problems of California criminality for a very long time. He has advocated for and considers a huge component of his legacy Prop 47, but now we are supposed to believe that Gavin Newsom has done a 180 on the issue, and now he's your tough on crime, clean up the streets kind of governor, and he's not going to deal with any of the nonsense of the progressive policies that he's advocated for his entire career when it comes to criminality. Now, we're going to get into this. I'm going to tell you what's real and not real, because yes, there are some real efforts in this particular situation, but most of it is nonsense. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
Well, big changes coming to who is prosecuting criminal cases in Alameda County. Governor Gavin Newsom says some will now be handled by attorneys with the state's Department of Justice. It is the latest move by the governor to address crime in the East Bay, with District Attorney Pamela Price facing a recall vote in a matter of months.
So you guys might have noticed that I shifted the coverage to a couple of weeks prior to the signing of these bills that supposedly are going to address the problems faced by Californians. And that is because out of all of the things that Gavin Newsom has tried to engage in order to fix his reputation and fix his state's reputation, this is the one that I actually think had a little bit of teeth behind it. And that was using the California Department of Justice to override the Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price's attitude of not prosecuting anyone for anything by taking up some of her caseload and actually trying to enforce some consequences against those criminals.
Legal expert Stephen Clark expressing his thoughts on today's announcement by Governor Gavin Newsom to use attorneys with the California National Guard to prosecute some criminal cases in Alameda County.
The people that were arrested by Oakland PD will be prosecuted by Pamela Price's office, and the people that were arrested by the CHP are going to be prosecuted by the Attorney General.
The governor has taken several actions in the past months to address crime in the East Bay, including deploying CHP officers as a part of its surge operations.
So I'm starting with the positives in this particular story because I've long been an advocate for state authorities to do something about these rogue DAs, and in this particular scenario, he examined his options and decided that he was going to deploy California Highway Patrol to the city of Oakland to make their own arrests in the city of Oakland, and in those specific cases, he was going to try to prosecute them, not using the Alameda County District Attorney's Office. Now, of course, this doesn't fully neutralize Pamela Price, but again, I give credit for actual legitimate efforts, and it appears that Gavin Newsom actually did put forward those efforts, trying to take on the caseload from the district attorney in Alameda County, which covers Oakland, but she refused.
The Alameda County DA's office hasn't exactly been on board with the governor, with Newsom claiming DA Pamela Price refused his initial offer to bring in state prosecutors, an offer he eventually rescinded. DA Price disputes the governor's claims, calling it misguided and misleading.
So yeah, as you heard right there, the governor initially offered the district attorney the additional prosecutors to actually deal with the cases. She rejected that, and now he's going to try to use the California Highway Patrol to basically steal jurisdiction from every case where they can make an arrest in this particular scenario, because he feels like this is the only thing that he can do about Oakland, which is getting worse and worse and becoming a bigger problem for him politically. Now, by the way, Gavin Newsom, it needs to be said, is perfectly fine with you being victimized in major cities in the state of California, as long as it doesn't hurt him, again, politically, but now it's starting to affect him, so he's decided to go after it. And by the way, again, he tried the strategy of working with Pamela Price, but apparently she's just refused to prosecute the overwhelming majority of cases.
DA Price also says only 11 arrests from the CHP surge were referred to her office for prosecution, but tonight the CHP is disputing those numbers, saying more than 500 cases have been referred to the DA's office, and no charges have been filed for 72% of the cases.
Yeah, you heard that right. So Pamela Price is saying they've only made 11 arrests, no big deal, nothing to worry about, but the California Highway Patrol says, no, we've made like 500 arrests, but you've declined charges in 72% of the cases right there. I'm actually going to believe the California Highway Patrol over Pamela Price, because everything in her career has been about minimizing and downplaying criminality, and she's facing a recall campaign, so she has every incentive to lie in this particular scenario. Now, let us jump to this package of retail bills that Gavin Newsom recently signed.
We will come for you. The law's backers say it will stop more scenes like these in recent years, and even this summer, when groups of thieves swarm and loot businesses, sometimes after hours, but often while people are shopping. The package of bills increases penalties for repeat offenders, including longer prison sentences and felony enhancement. The governor says the laws also target the places where the stolen goods are sold.
People are going out there with a menu telling people what to steal so that they could sell on third-party platforms, but those third-party platforms have no accountability, no responsibility. Do they ever question how something, a brand new product, can be sold for half the price on their platforms? There has to be some accountability. Bills will strengthen existing laws, they'll enhance other laws, and they will address the challenges that are well outside the purview of previous initiatives and laws like Prop 47, and that's the issue of organized retail theft, the issue that is front and center in the consciousness of so many Californians. This goes to the heart of the issue, and it does it in a thoughtful and judicious way.
So right off the top, I'm incredibly worried about these packages of bills that Gavin Newsom has put forward, because he's talking about organized crime rings in these particular theft situations. Now, we heard some good things about repeat offenders. I think that should be acknowledged. Of course, because he's a Democrat, he's like, the secondary market where they're being sold is where we have to hit them on. But the fact of the matter is, if you incentivize people who are not organized, who are everyday thieves, which is the overwhelming majority of the problem in the state of California, to steal all of this stuff, they're always going to look for and seek out methods in order to sell those things. Now, that being said, we've seen videos, including from YouTubers like Mark Rober, where they talk about their stuff ending up at a warehouse in San Francisco, which, by the way, we covered coincidentally another story of a guy who got his camera equipment stolen, had an AirTag in it. It ended up in that same warehouse as well, and the police refusing to raid that. So maybe, just maybe, actually going after these black markets is good, especially when you have overwhelming evidence that the illegal goods are there, and the police, again, are refusing to engage in that. That being said, this is not really as good as it can get, and the reason why Newsom is actually signing these laws is due to the fact that he is trying to save Prop 47, which is the problem in California.
Governor Newsom says law enforcement is also making gains, busting 167 retail theft suspects in California last month and arresting nearly 900 this year. And some retail and grocer groups say the new laws will help.
Now, Newsom, again, is saying a bunch of new things, and of course, he's trying to deflect to Amazon and eBay, and I'm not saying, again, that that's not an issue, the secondary market, but like I said, he's tackling the problem at the wrong entry point if that's where his focus is. On top of that, we have to understand how we got here. Remember, we did a video about how Gavin Newsom and his team behind the scenes were doing anything and everything in order to get the repeal of Prop 47, which is Prop 36 on this year's ballot, to be removed from the ballot. They were sending back and forth messages with people who were involved in the initiative, and essentially they had their own set of crime bills that they loaded up with poison pills to make them expire in order to prevent that ballot measure from passing. And the reason they wanted to do that is they wanted to scare people into thinking that the repeal of Prop 47 would undo all of this positive change in the correct direction. But in reality, they had no need to put that stuff in the bills. They did it on purpose for a propaganda strategy, and guess what? They still couldn't get it together to pass those. Now, after that failure, to give you an idea of how disingenuous this whole campaign is, they decided that they were going to try to blitz their own ballot initiative with the same basic policies, the non-repeal of Prop 47, onto November's ballot, and guess what? That failed as well. People were not buying it in the state of California.
New laws will make it easier to go after repeat offenders and increase penalties for reselling schemes.
Now, again, one of the main issues with the current set of California laws is that you don't get sent to prison for these offenses. So they could enhance the prison sentences all they want, but the fact of the matter is, if it has been reclassified to a non-violent felony, you can only be sent to the county jail. The county jails are full, so what ends up happening in those circumstances is these repeat offenders end up getting released. You also have issues like the district attorney that we highlighted that won't prosecute any of these cases no matter what, so they have to be removed from office in order for you to actually do something. But again, Newsom is pushing the California Highway Patrol and state prosecutors to try to stem the issues with that. But what the actual strategy is behind this, and the reason why Newsom is emphasizing regulating and cracking down on the secondary online market so much, is that he wants to starve out Proposition 36, which again would be the full repeal of all the problems that stem from Prop 47 by getting rid of that altogether.
This package of bills came from retailers. I came to leadership. I said, here is what we need to help us curtail this happening in our stores. And they listened. And we work together.
So what this is Gavin Newsom not trying to help the average everyday citizen, but trying to satisfy the brick and mortar retailers who are behind Proposition 36 in order for them to stop contributing to the campaign to get it to pass so people don't see as many advertisements, in the hopes that he can get his people together and spend enough money to reverse the polling. And by the way, it's really bad in the state of California for Proposition 47. The repeal is at 56% approval. That is already game over for Newsom. But the people who are against it, even worse news. 23% against it. 23% against it. And then you have 21% of the population that is undecided. Even if all of them, 100%, jumped on board with the opposed side, that would not be enough to defeat the ballot initiative. So Gavin Newsom just waited too long, in my opinion. I will take whatever gains we can get from his stupid set of bills, but it is very important for the retailers to not give up the fight, for people to still vote yes on Proposition 36, because as they did this incredibly quickly, after pretending they couldn't do anything for years on the issue of criminal justice, as these problems spiraled out of control, they can undo it, and they likely will undo it, because remember, Gavin Newsom wants the legacy of fighting against mass incarceration. That's the whole reason why he's advocating so hard for Prop 47, and I will say this again. Crackdowns on organized retail theft, unless you're broadly defining this as one or more people, are not going to be sufficient in order to address the issues in the state of California. And even when you do highlight these big operations where it's a smash and grab, but with a lot of people like we do because they're horrific, that's still like 1% of the cases, maybe 2% of the cases in the state of California. It is the average everyday repeat offender that's stealing from the stores, that's getting away with it, that's not facing charges. That is the issue. And that's what needs to be addressed by the repeal of Prop 47. So don't believe it. This is a scheme, another plot to undermine people being able to vote on this particular issue, and it is incredibly transparent. Now, of course, these are just my thoughts, these are my opinions, but I think I'm 100% right on this. I want to know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. If you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about Gavin Newsom's scam. Till next time.